Friends, in today's fast life, we get distracted in such a way that we are not able to focus on any one thing. We get easily distracted by social media notifications. We start any task with great enthusiasm, but at the sight of a new and shiny thing, we immediately leave it behind. In continuation of this, the story of Gautam Buddha lets us know how to get rid of this problem. It was a long time ago. There was an emperor in a village. He had everything under his control, immense wealth, good people who took care of him and followed his orders, and he also took great care of his people, never letting them feel any shortage of anything. Yet he was always restless. His mind could never settle on anything. Whenever he tried to do something, his attention would get distracted. He was very worried about this and sought relief many times. He met the kings of neighboring kingdoms, and everyone gave him different opinions and methods to solve his problem. The emperor implemented those methods in his life, but none of them brought him any benefit. This made him even more anxious, troubled, and sleepless. He would just toss and turn at night. One day, a news reached the emperor's ears that there was an extraordinary person in his kingdom whose words were priceless. The secret of life was hidden in his words, and people from far and wide came to meet him because he solved everyone's problems simply and easily. Hearing this, the emperor was intrigued. He felt that now he would get the answers to his questions. After hearing so much praise, the emperor decided to go and meet this person to see if the rumors were true. Early in the morning, the emperor set out to meet him. The route was a little long, so the emperor rested a bit on the way. Everyone present there knew him, and when the emperor asked to meet this person, they praised him as an extraordinary man. This made the emperor even more curious. He thought that this person must be very intelligent, educated, and influential for everyone to praise him so much. Surely there must be something special about this person. When the emperor reached the ashram, he didn't see anyone. There was a small garden behind the ashram, and when the emperor reached there, he saw a gardener cleaning the garden. The gardener was covered in mud and had no slippers on his feet. Seeing this, the emperor said to the gardener, "Listen, sir, where is the owner of this ashram? I have come to meet him." The gardener replied, "Sir, you sit inside. I will call him soon. Malik will meet you." Hearing this, the emperor went inside the hut, sat down, and started waiting for the extraordinary person. After waiting for some time, when the extraordinary person arrived in front of the emperor, he saw that it was the same gardener who was working in the garden. The emperor greeted him and said with great surprise, "You are the same gardener who was tending the garden outside." But this time, the gardener was standing in the form of a Buddhist monk. The Buddhist monk said to the emperor, "Is the emperor making fun of me? Sorry, I was just doing some work in the garden. I am the gardener here, and I am the extraordinary person whom you have come to meet. Please tell me the reason for your visit." The emperor said to the Buddhist monk, "Maharaj, I have heard that there is no person like you in this entire state. I have heard your praises and many good things about you. I have also heard that whoever comes to you with a problem, you definitely solve it. That's why I have come here to meet you today. I want to listen to your teachings, but my mind has a doubt." The emperor continued, "I have seen great scholars, knowledgeable people. Whenever they walk, they carry different types of books of knowledge, or there is some sign with them that shows they are knowledgeable. But you do not have any books of knowledge, nor are there any visible signs of scholarship. Despite that, you seem very calm. Can you tell me its secret?" On this, the Buddhist monk started smiling and said to the emperor, "My knowledge is everywhere, in the form of nature in this universe. I get my knowledge from the simple and ordinary things of life. But Maharaj, what problem are you facing? Please explain the reason for your visit." The emperor said, "The reason for my visit is that I have not been able to concentrate on anything for a long time. I know I am just afraid of something. I get distracted from my work. Please tell me the solution to my problem. I am very worried about this." The Buddhist monk understood the emperor's concern and said, "Maharaj, I have understood your problem. You are not concentrating on your work. That's why I can tell you a solution. But today you seem a little scared. You will meet me tomorrow morning. The time will be fine. Tomorrow morning when you meet me, I will answer all your questions." Saying this, The Buddhist monk went back to his garden, and the emperor returned to his palace. But the emperor could not sleep the whole night. He was just thinking about what the Buddhist monk was going to tell him. He looked like an ordinary gardener to the emperor, but in a good way his mind was calm. The way he looked calm was very surprising. The emperor remained in these thoughts all night long. The next morning, just before the sun rose, the emperor went back to the ashram. The Buddhist monk was already present there when the emperor arrived. The Buddhist monk placed a small jug of water in the emperor's hand and said, "Take this and slowly pour water on the plants. There are 15 plants in front of you. You have to do the same for all of them. You have to keep pouring water, but while doing this activity, you must keep one thing in mind. During this time, you should not do anything else, nor should you think about anything, nor should your attention be distracted. If you are watering the plants, then your entire attention should be on these plants only. If in the meantime any thought comes to your mind, then stop there and then again start watering the first plant. When you listen to me and follow these instructions exactly, you will water all these 15 plants. Then you will come to me, and I will answer all your questions." The emperor had never done anything like this before, and this was a very simple task for him. This was the first time he had to do something like this. He watered the first plant very carefully from the water jug, and then the second plant. He continued to water the second plant carefully, but just as he started watering the third plant, his mind was filled with various thoughts. He started remembering the garden of his palace, where there were different types of flowers and plants. Suddenly, he remembered the Buddhist monk's words. If any thoughts arise in his mind, he must return to the first plant and start watering again. He immediately returned to the first plant and watered it again, carefully. He then watered the second plant again, and as soon as he reached the third plant, his mind was again filled with thoughts. This time, he started thinking about his empire, wondering what might be happening there without him. The emperor became very frustrated. He thought, "Why can't I do this small task?" He returned to the first plant and carefully watered it again. He immediately returned to the first plant and watered it again, carefully. He then watered the second plant again, and as soon as he reached the third plant, his mind was again filled with thoughts. This time, he started thinking about his empire, wondering what might be happening there without him. The emperor became very frustrated. He thought, "Why can't I do this small task?" He returned to the first plant and carefully watered it again. This time, he watered about 5 plants carefully, but as he started watering the plants again, thoughts of a river began to form in his mind. The emperor was now very upset. Every time he tried to water the plants, he failed. The more he failed, the more distressed and angry he became with himself. The emperor knew very well that the monk was testing him, and he considered it necessary to obey. No matter how many times the emperor tried, the more he failed. The more distressed his mind became, the more he found himself engrossed in some thought or another. By this time, morning had turned into evening, but the emperor had still not been able to water all 15 plants. When the Buddhist monk returned to the ashram in the evening, he saw the emperor sitting and struggling with his thoughts. The monk approached the emperor and said, "Emperor, I am very happy with your honesty. You tried your best to do your work with full dedication and devotion. So listen very carefully and understand what I'm going to tell you. When our mind becomes empty of thoughts, then its true form is visible. Even the simplest thing can give us knowledge and peace." The emperor then asked, "Maharaj, but how is this possible? Whenever I do any work, many kinds of thoughts arise in my mind, and I get trapped in those thoughts. I don't see any way to get out of them." The Buddhist monk started smiling and said, "Emperor, you were not watering the plants. You just wanted to finish your work as soon as possible. The thought was arising in your mind that you should water these 15 plants quickly so that you can get the answers to your questions. This task seemed like a burden to you, as if I had placed a huge weight on your shoulders. That's why you were not able to focus on this task. When work feels like a burden, we just want to finish it somehow, and in doing so, we are not able to give our full attention. But if you could understand the importance of this task, you would be able to focus on it completely. If you had concentrated on watering the plants, no thoughts would have troubled you." The emperor said, Yes, Maharaj, I understand what you are saying. I wanted to finish this task as soon as possible to meet you, but my mind could not focus properly. This is a challenge we are living with, and it is true that focusing on one thing is very difficult. The Buddhist monk then said, Emperor, this is the problem with most of us. We want to finish our work as soon as possible so that we can get rid of it. But in doing so, we forget to put our mind into it. If you want to do any work with full concentration, then you must first realize the importance of that work and put your full attention into it. Whatever work you are doing, your mind should be focused only on that work, as if nothing else exists. When you do any work with this kind of focus and attention, then you will not be bothered by thoughts, and you will be able to concentrate fully. And when you concentrate fully, your work will become effortless, and peace will come to your mind. The emperor was deeply impressed by the Buddhist monk's wisdom. He realized that the key to overcoming distractions and achieving focus was to find meaning and purpose in the task at hand and to approach it with full presence and mindfulness. The emperor thanked the monk and returned to his palace with a new sense of clarity and purpose. From that day forward, he practiced focusing on one task at a time, and slowly but surely, he found that his mind became more settled, his work more fulfilling, and his life more peaceful. This story teaches us that the secret to overcoming distractions lies in finding the importance of the task at hand, approaching it with full attention, and letting go of the urge to finish it quickly. By practicing mindfulness and focusing on one thing at a time, we can cultivate a calm and peaceful mind, free from the constant chatter of thoughts and distractions.